Paradise Lost, the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden, a place of unparalleled beauty and tranquility. A paradise where humans lived in perfect harmony with God, surrounded by the splendor of nature. Adam and Eve, the first humans, roamed freely through this divine sanctuary, enjoying the abundance and peace it offered. They had everything they needed, from the freshest fruits to the purest water, all provided by the hand of God. But there was one rule that they had to follow, a single command that held great significance. God commanded them not to eat fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, a tree that stood out among all others. This simple command, however, was a test of their obedience and trust in God, and it led to their eventual downfall. Tempted by the cunning serpent, Eve reached out and ate the forbidden fruit, defying God's command. She then shared it with Adam, who also chose to eat the fruit, sealing their fate. This act of disobedience had profound consequences, as they immediately felt shame and guilt for the first time. As a result, God banished them from the garden, placing a flaming sword at the entrance to prevent their return. The story of the Garden of Eden is central to Christian tradition, symbolizing the fall of man and the loss of innocence. It explains the origin of sin and humanity's separation from God, a theme that resonates throughout Christian teachings. But one question remains: what was the forbidden fruit? Was it truly an apple? Or could it have been another fruit entirely? The mystery endures, inviting contemplation and reflection. The apple of our eye. A misconception. Most people picture an apple as the forbidden fruit. This belief is widespread. It's seen in art, literature, and popular culture. However, the Bible never explicitly mentions an apple. The book of Genesis simply calls it the fruit of the tree. This ambiguity has led to much speculation and debate over the centuries. Scholars and theologians have offered various interpretations. They propose different fruits as the possible forbidden fruit. Let's explore some of these alternative theories and their biblical basis. Fig leaves and forbidden figs. Was it a fig? One possibility is the fig. This fruit, with its rich history and deep roots in ancient cultures, has long been a subject of fascination. Figs are mentioned several times in the Bible. They appear in various contexts, from parables to direct references, highlighting their significance in ancient times. In fact, after eating the forbidden fruit, Adam and Eve used fig leaves to cover their nakedness. This act of covering themselves with fig leaves is one of the most iconic images from the biblical story of Genesis. This suggests a close association between figs and the events in the garden. The fig tree, with its broad leaves and abundant fruit, might have been the very tree that bore the forbidden fruit. Furthermore, figs were a staple food in the ancient Near East. They were not only consumed fresh, but also dried and stored for later use, making them a vital part of the diet. They symbolized fertility and abundance. In many cultures, the fig tree was revered as a symbol of prosperity and life. Some scholars argue that the fig's association with sensuality and knowledge makes it a likely candidate. The fruit's unique texture and sweet taste might have contributed to its symbolic meanings. The fig's symbolism and presence in the biblical narrative make it a compelling alternative to the apple. Its deep roots in history and culture, combined with its frequent mentions in ancient texts, provide a strong case for reconsidering the identity of the forbidden fruit. Grapes of wrath, another contender. Another contender is the grape. Grapes were highly valued in ancient times. They were used to make wine, a symbol of joy and celebration. The Bible often uses the imagery of vineyards and grapes metaphorically. Some scholars suggest that the forbidden fruit was a grapevine. They believe the fruit represents the intoxicating effects of wine. Wine can lead to a loss of inhibition and altered perception. This could symbolize the knowledge of good and evil. The symbolic connection between grapes, wine, and altered states of consciousness offers an intriguing interpretation of the forbidden fruit. Section 5. The Pomegranate Seeds of Knowledge. The pomegranate is another fruit that has been proposed. Pomegranates were associated with fertility and abundance in ancient cultures. Their numerous seeds could symbolize the multiplicity of knowledge. Additionally, the pomegranate's crown-like structure might have represented power and wisdom. Eating the pomegranate could symbolize a desire for divine knowledge and power. The pomegranate's rich symbolism and association with knowledge make it a fascinating possibility. Section 6. Beyond the fruit, the true meaning. While the identity of the fruit is interesting to ponder, it's essential to remember that the story of the Garden of Eden is an allegory. It conveys a deeper message about human nature, temptation, and the consequences of disobedience. The fruit itself is not the central point. It represents something more profound, the allure of forbidden knowledge and the human desire to be like God. The story's true meaning lies in its exploration of these timeless themes. Section 7. Why the apple stuck? Cultural influences. If the Bible doesn't specify the fruit, why is the apple so ingrained in our collective imagination? The answer might lie in cultural influences. The Latin word for apple is similar to the word for evil. This linguistic coincidence might have contributed to the apple's association with sin and temptation. Furthermore, Renaissance artists often depicted the forbidden fruit as an apple. This artistic tradition further solidified the apple's place in popular culture. The apple's association with the forbidden fruit is likely due to a combination of linguistic coincidence and artistic tradition. Section 8. The power of symbols more than meets the eye. Regardless of the fruit's true identity, the story of the Garden of Eden uses powerful symbolism. The tree, the fruit, the serpent, they all represent deeper concepts and truths about the human condition. The serpent represents temptation and deception. The tree represents knowledge and the potential for both good and evil. The fruit itself symbolizes the object of desire and the consequences of succumbing to temptation. Understanding these symbols enriches our interpretation of the story and its timeless message. Section 9. A fruit for thought, open to interpretation. The Bible's silence on the specific fruit leaves room for interpretation. Each proposed fruit, the fig, the grape, the pomegranate, offers a unique perspective on the story and its meaning. Ultimately, the true forbidden fruit is a matter of personal interpretation. The story's power lies in its ability to resonate with readers across cultures and throughout history. The mystery of the forbidden fruit continues to intrigue and inspire us to this day. Section 10. The ultimate forbidden fruit, our own desires. Perhaps the most compelling interpretation of the forbidden fruit is that it represents our own desires. These desires can be as simple as craving a piece of cake or as complex as yearning for success and recognition. We all have desires that tempt us, pulling us in different directions. These desires can be powerful, often leading us to make choices that we might later regret. Desires that can lead us astray, making us question our values and priorities. They can create inner conflict, leaving us at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. The story of the Garden of Eden reminds us that giving in to our desires without considering the consequences can have dire consequences. Adam and Eve's choice to eat the forbidden fruit led to their expulsion from paradise, a powerful metaphor for the repercussions of our actions. It's a timeless tale about the human struggle with temptation, obedience, and the pursuit of knowledge. This story has been passed down through generations, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of succumbing to our baser instincts. What is the forbidden fruit in your own life? What desires tempt you? Is it the allure of material wealth, the pursuit of power, or perhaps the need for approval from others? These are the questions the story asks us to consider. By reflecting on our own desires, we can better understand the choices we make and the potential consequences they carry. The tale of the forbidden fruit encourages us to seek balance and wisdom in our lives, reminding us that while desires are natural, they must be tempered with foresight and responsibility.